Good morning. It's Tuesday, November 11th, Veterans Day. Today honors everyone who has served this country, those who looked at America and saw the potential of it and wanted to be a part of pushing this country forward towards that potential. And it's celebrated on this day because on November 11th, 1918, World War I ended. Originally, it was a day to honor those who died in what was then known as the Great War. Calling it World War I would have just been a huge spoiler. In 1945, a World War II veteran suggested expanding the day to honor all veterans. And that is how we got Veterans Day. And now, the news. Alright, starting with the government shutdown. Sunday night saw the Dems voting to bring a measure to the floor that would reopen the government. If you're watching on YouTube, here's the cat. As you may recall, this entire shutdown has been about healthcare. Let the cat do what she wants. Nothing makes sense anymore. This shutdown is ridiculous. The entire shutdown was about healthcare. The Democrats were like, we are not voting on this bill. We are saying absolutely not, because it has to include an extension of the ACA tax credits. That was the point of this shutdown. That is why they said no votes for us. As you may also recall, the Democrats just last Tuesday, swept all of the elections. So many. They did so great in the elections. Everyone was like, amazing! And all the Republicans were like, bummer! Those elections showed wide-ranging support all around the country for things that the Democrats are fighting for. It shows that there is public support for these things. So, of course, it makes perfect sense that after holding out for more than 41 days, this deal that the Democrats and Republicans worked together on, a deal that would hopefully open the government back up. It makes perfect sense that it includes a promise that the Republicans will vote on extending the ACA tax credits in December. Oh my God. If we're not laughing, we're crying. That vote in December, the Democrats will lose because they do not have the majority in the Senate and in the House. The House Republicans, Speaker Johnson already said he doesn't even think that they're going to be able to do it. Can't say, not sure. Who knows? He can't predict the future. What do you think he is? Some kind of smart? I don't know, Kim. It sure doesn't sound like it makes perfect sense. You wouldn't understand. It's a secret. Good stuff. 42 days of a shutdown for, it says here, nothing. And it will only shut down. It was a prop joke. If you're only watching with your ears, I dug through my drawers and found a scrap piece of paper. It's a notepad that I had from Grey's Anatomy. On the back, it's a script. Prop jokes over here on YouTube. And this will only fund the government through January. So it was worth it, I think. Fear not, this stellar deal that only comes from the patience and negotiation skills of the Democrats. Only the Democrats could have done this. Only the Democrats could have been in the position that they were in, one of holding all the cards, and then been like, do you want these? These are all the cards. Do you want them? This deal has passed, and now it heads to the House. If Speaker Johnson can find the keys to the House, which has been closed for business since September 19th, they will take a vote and this whole mess will be over because, as a reminder, it only needs a simple majority in the House to pass. The vote is scheduled for Wednesday, not today, Tuesday. It needs a day because people need time to get back into town. They're not in town because, again, the House has been closed since September 19th because Speaker Johnson does not want to swear in the latest House representative, whose yay vote would be the final vote needed to release the Epstein files. So opening the government, and a month from now, taking a vote that will take health insurance away from 20 million people, will be delayed one more day because Speaker Johnson closed the House of Representatives, the entire House of Representatives, to protect the names of those who did business with a child sex trafficker, a list of people that includes the president, and so he needs an extra day while people get back into town before business can continue. The Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen, strong stuff all around. That's the Republican Party. The Democrats are like, you guys are not doing good. You're bad. Here's all the power that we have, though. Would you like it? Meanwhile, as flights continue to be canceled, Trump is now demanding that air traffic controllers return to work without pay. But he also told them that now they have a negative mark in his mind. So that'll show him. In his post about how he was like, you have a negative mark in my mind, I definitely know who you are, he also added that for those who have not taken any time off, he was recommending a $10,000 bonus. But, quote, if you want to leave service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so, with no payment or severance of any kind, end quote. He can't do that. He has no control over air traffic controllers' pay at all. Look, here's the deal. I, as well as many others, are very frustrated about what has happened right now. The Democrats had all the cards. They said that they were not going to sign off on any deal on the budget that did not include an extension of the ACA. However, that being said, the Democrats do not have the majority in either chamber of Congress. The Republicans do. This is a Republican shutdown. This shutdown falls at the feet of the Republicans. We can be frustrated with the Democrats. I am, but we cannot blame them for the shutdown. A lot of people are going to do it. We can blame them for a lot of things. We can blame them for not being as politically savvy as we would like them to. We can blame them for not being as brave as we would like them to. We are not going to blame them for a shutdown that they did not cause. And we are not going to blame them when 20 million people lose their health insurance next month, because that is a decision that the Republicans made. Just want to be really clear about that. I am frustrated. But the shutdown is because the Republicans put forth a budget that takes away health care for 20 million Americans. This is the Republicans' shutdown. Just that the Democrats were like, okie doke, well, here's all the cards, man. Two things can be true. Look at me. You think I can't be mad at two things at once? Come on. How dare you? And in Why Should I Change My Name? She's the one who sucks news. Kim Davis, who has been married 4 times, but that's neither here nor there because the reality is that marriages are private, has had her attempt to overthrow Obergefell and overturn same-sex marriages throughout the country turned down by the Supreme Court. They will not hear her case. Not only that, but she will now need to pay $260,000 in attorney fees. We love to see it. She brought this case forward on a First Amendment violation, which means I now get to do one of my favorite things. This should be a segment. This should be a segment. I need a couple minutes to do a graphic. Here's a cat. She just wants to walk back and forth. I need a couple of free minutes to do like a graphic and some music. So eventually this will be a segment. In the meantime, just pretend like I did one of those. And then that will lead us into a new segment called Kim Explains the First Amendment. Here's the deal. You have a First Amendment right to your religion. Okie doke, fine, great. I for sure do not agree with the faith that leads you to be so filled with hate that you would deny the love of 2 consenting adults, but everyone's got their thing, I guess. It is still her right to have that faith. However, that right does not supersede the right of the couple who came into the Kentucky County Clerk's office for a marriage license. Because the thing about the First Amendment is that it's fairly simple. You have the right to say whatever you want, but not without consequence. However, it is also not simple. and therefore it's often misunderstood, because tucked into the First Amendment are the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. The Establishment Clause means that the government must be neutral towards religion. Not every religion bans same-sex marriage. The Free Exercise Clause means that you can practice your religion as you see fit, but not when it conflicts with the rights of others. Your right to make a fist ends at my face. Okay, fine. Don't give someone a marriage license. I don't get it. It's not for me to get. But your right to the Free Exercise Clause does not supersede that couple's. Just like how your right to use the First Amendment to open your mouth and file this obnoxious, cruel for the sake of being cruel suit does not supersede my right to say this: get a life, you absolute 100% up to your eyeballs in it, hate-filled loser. Have the life you deserve. I'm glad you lost your case. You'll learn nothing from this and remain irrelevant, but at least you'll go down in the history books as a hate-filled loser who lost. See? First Amendment. We both used it. The first time I covered this, I brought this quote out too, but I feel compelled to use it again. To quote the singer Ethel Cain after Trump was elected a second time, quote, "I hope that peace never finds you. Instead, I hope clarity strikes you someday like a clap of lightning, and you have to live the rest of your life with the knowledge and guilt of what you've done and who you are as a person." End quote. All they want to do is get married. That's it. No one is asking Kim Davis to be the officiant. In fact, all she had to do is say, "My coworker here has to help you." Still a lame move, but that could have been the end of it. We could have never known her name. Instead, she saw an opportunity and caused real emotional harm for hundreds of thousands of people all over the country who saw their marriages threatened and, once again, their very existences belittled simply for doing what most humans want. Just going around, falling in love, and trying to make that love work for a lifetime. That is a hard enough task without people like Kim Davis making it harder. Have the life you deserve. And then, that's okay, we weren't really using our health anyway, news. On Monday, the FDA announced that hormone-based drugs used to treat menopause symptoms will no longer carry a bold warning label about stroke, heart attack, dementia, and other serious risks. That's okay. We weren't really using our health anyway. So here's the thing. The FDA commissioner, as well as some doctors, point to studies that suggest hormone therapy, when started before age 60 and within 10 years of menopause, is safe. Many doctors and even pharmaceutical companies say that the warning discourages people from using the therapies that might help them. But here is where we've entered a very dangerous arena, because this is a move that is also backed by Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr., cursed sentence, who said, quote, "We're challenging outdated thinking and recommitting to evidence-based medicine that empowers rather than restricts," end quote. And I want to be very clear here that I'm not being political, simply practical. Because he has said such genuinely out-of-pocket and dangerous lies in the past, it is hard to know who to trust here. It's hard to know if this is medical advice that we can trust. So as always, if you are considering starting hormone therapy for menopause, or if you're considering any type of anything for any medical, talk to your doctor, not the guy who chopped the head off of a whale for fun. Feels like pretty good advice. And finally, Trump has issued, quote, "full, complete, and unconditional pardons for dozens of his allies who tried to overturn the 2020 election with him." It is mostly symbolic, the symbolism being, of course, my and everyone's general annoyance, because this only applies to federal charges, and none of these dum-dums were ever charged with anything federal. This is a cow's opinion. Do not let this make you mad. All he's trying to do is act like the 2020 election wasn't legitimate. It was. He lost. Something he should be accustomed to, as he is, in fact, famously, a loser. The 2020 election wasn't stolen. He can't, his brain no good. If the 2020 election was stolen, then wasn't he already the president? Then you can't serve a third term. And then how, his brain no good. I'm not even going to try and figure this one out. I don't care, actually. It doesn't matter. His brain's ankles to the brain. You know what I mean? In a comment, every single one of the pardoned co-conspirators said, quote, "Oh, I didn't want Joe Biden to win. I wanted my favorite to win. And I don't know how to properly express my emotions, so I did crimes. I don't want consequences for actions. Oh, They all had the same response. Wild. I got that quote. Here's what's happening is at the front lines. And that's it. That's the news. I'm proud of veterans. We are a great experiment, but we only get to continue to keep trying, to keep attempting to improve, because there are people that are willing to spend their lives in service of this country. And many of those people are veterans. I'm also proud of ice cream sundaes. Not more than veterans. Say, I didn't say more than. I said also. It's also National Ice Cream Sundae Day. On a Tuesday? Life finds a way. Also proud of Ruth, who saw a camera, she saw an opportunity, and she made her way on screen in this episode. Ruth also finds a way. But more than Sundays, the treat and the day, because you're a treat every day of the week. I'm proud of you. Look how professional I'm getting now. Look at this microphone right here. I had to dig this out of the closet. You are welcome. The sacrifices I'm making for the show that no one ever asked me to do. Really incredible.